A recent survey shows that only 1.5% of engineers in India are fit for new age jobs. What is your opinion on the Indian engineering education landscape?
I must admit that there is definitely a need for more engineers who are trained and educated in terms of more modern upcoming technologies, whether it is artificial intelligence or data science, or it is in terms of applying newer and innovative methods of science to engineering. Actually, there is some kind of a gap here in the understanding of engineering education by people who are not in engineering education.
Okay.
The objective of engineering education is not to produce technicians or people who know only that thing which is taught to them during the curriculum. The objective of engineering education is to train the mind to be able to pick up new things, to train the mind in terms of how to analyze and how to think in terms of an engineering context. So it is not necessary that we have to whole scale change the curriculum or completely overhaul the curriculum. It is only that if we be true to the essence of engineering education, the students who go through that education will naturally pick up new age technologies without any effort, because they are trained to pick up new things. So it is more like a question of being true to the spirit and essence of engineering education rather than changing it lock, stock, and barrel.
The cost of engineering education in India is increasing constantly. At the same time, the popularity for online certification courses is rising as well. In light of this, how do you view the ROI for conventional engineering programs in India?
Conventional engineering programs provide a lot many things that a certificate course online is trying to provide, but still not there. For example, conventional engineering education in academic institutions, it provides an opportunity for doing collaborative projects. It provides an opportunity for learning in a more collaborative environment. It provides a great opportunity for learning from your peers as well as learning outside the classroom. So these are the things that are very difficult to replicate in an online certificate program. So it is not like that we have to think in terms of completely replacing it with online education. It is only that we have to make sure that when the conventional engineering education is there, there is enough scope for the students to pick up new projects, to be able to take up interesting research problems while being at the curriculum itself, and be able to do many more things hands-on rather than virtually or only by seeing or demonstrating. But if you do it hands-on, then not the kind of understanding, the kind of confidence that you get is different.
The rapid advancements in technology are making many jobs across industry verticals obsolete. Students are inclined towards the engineering domains that promise future-proof careers. How do you see this development?
Looking for a future-proof curriculum, or instead of looking for trying to predict and then failing in terms of what will be the most popular thing 10 years later or 15 years later, it is very important that the engineering education focuses on providing the ability to the student to be on his or her own, to learn on his or her own. He or she should not always be looking for somebody to handhold or somebody to teach. The education should be such that the student gets the confidence to stand up on his or her feet and think and plan and accordingly pick up new skills online, maybe pick up some circuit courses online. And that will be the best way to think in terms of making students future proof, rather than trying to tinker with the curriculum in a very major way, and not realizing that what is the core strength or what is the core purpose of engineering education.
Owing to the increasing automation of workflow, tasks that couldn't be automated are becoming more crucial for the success of a company. How important are interpersonal/soft skills in the engineering domain?
Important. In fact, with the passage of time, if I may say, in the last 10-15 years, we educators have realized its importance more and more. That it is not only important to understand science and apply it for engineering problems. It is equally important to have the ability to articulate, to express, to convey our thoughts, whether using oral speaking or in terms of writing down or in terms of preparing a document or in terms of making a presentation or in terms of the body language. So there are so many different ways in which communication can be done, communication is done, and students and as well as, I mean, professionals need to pick up those skills, because only then they can provide leadership. Leadership is required to be able to take up big projects, to be able to take difficult projects. Without a leader, a difficult or a big project cannot be carried through, because it has to be a teamwork. How to get the team moving. So there, the soft skills, the interpersonal skills have probably an equally important role, as important, if not more important, than skills to solve engineering problems. Roorkee has been very conscious in this regard. In fact, just last month, we have created a new cell in IIT Roorkee. This new cell is called a career development cell. And the purpose of career development cell is not to liaison with companies for placement. For that, there is a different cell, that is the placement and internship cell. But the career development cell will focus on building the skills of the students, which are different from whatever we educate as part of the curriculum. So for that, we will bring online methods, we will bring experts, we will give opportunities and platforms to our students by which they can assess their skills, by which they can identify what are their areas in which they can work on. And we also provide them support so that they should be able to work on those skills. So we have been very clear in this regard that we need to work in this direction for all students. And that is why we have created this career development cell, which will be completely focused on providing those skills or enhancing the skills of students, which are different from what is there in their curriculum.
Hands-on training is crucial for the success of students. How can engineering institutions utilize industry institute collaborations to provide better practical training to the students?
We have a large number of laboratories in our curriculum, and we try to make sure that whenever possible, we upgrade the experiments in those laboratories so that those experiments are not obsolete or they're not outdated. But at the same time, we do realize that a good connect with the industry is always important for a higher education institute like ours. And so we are very focused on trying to bring more and more industry-driven or industry-funded projects into our campus. These projects could be in the nature of consultancy projects. They could be in the nature of sponsored research projects, or they could be in the nature of just defining the problem, and then the students take up as a BTech project or as a MTech thesis, or maybe even as a PhD thesis topic. So the closer connect with the industry helps us in defining problems that are more related, they are more grounded, and at the same time, it also provides more opportunities for us to get fundings from the industry. So we have a regular program by which we bring large number of industry speakers to the campus. When they come, we try to arrange their meetings with many faculty members, different faculty members. We have created a focused office. 5 years back, we created a dedicated office for corporate interaction. In fact, IIT Roorkee has an associate dean whose job is corporate interaction. So associate dean for corporate interaction. So we continue to work in that direction. We believe that we can do more in that domain, and we are trying to work in that direction.
A 2021 study states that around 38% of faculty seats lay vacant in IITs. Why is this happening in some of the premier engineering colleges in India?
It is true that we can take more faculty than we have, and this is true for every IIT. But I would say that one reason for this is because IITs are very conscious of the quality of the faculty they would like to hire. So unless they are sure that this faculty is good enough to serve the institute for the next 30-35 years, we prefer to keep those seats vacant rather than filling them up with whatever is available in the market. So it is not that we have a dearth of faculty aspirants or applications. We do get faculty applications, but our process is very rigorous. It's a multi-tier process. And so what happens is that not many people are able to qualify at the end of the process. Whoever qualifies, we are happy to include them as a part of the faculty.
Going forward, what are some of the major changes that you wish to see in the Indian engineering education domain?
To focus more and more on what I would say is, team-driven projects. While individual solo projects are also important because they give confidence to the student that he or she can do something on his or her own. But then if we can have team projects, we can define more realistic problems. Instead of only taking up software-driven problems or mobile app-driven problems, we can take up more problems which are connected to real hardware or connected to real-time scenarios, whether it's a voice signal, whether it is a multimedia signal, whether it is in terms of cyber security. So I would say that the best way to improve the engineering education is to try and create opportunities for interesting projects that the students can do, but at the same time not lose focus on fundamental science, because all engineering is driven by fundamental science. If we lose the focus on fundamental science, then our engineers will not be grounded and they will not be prepared to take up future new age technologies. So it has to be a balance, and we always keep on trying to work to improve the balance. As I said, that more and more students, more and more faculty, industry, they want that the students should be trained in terms of real life projects and real life problems. And this is easier said than done because the curriculum is driven by a lot of theory content. And at the same time, it is not that a lot of industries are there to supply a very steady state of meaningful problems, which are both connected to the ground and at the same time, which are also solvable in a finite amount of time by a small group of students. So there is a trade-off in terms of how you can create a more basket of interesting problems. Because if the problem is very big or complex, the student team cannot solve it in the amount of time available. At the same time, if the problem needs huge amount of resources, those resources may not be available in the educational institute. So we have to think and work more on problems which are able to address these concerns of being connected to the ground, but at the same time not very resource intensive and not too complex that they will not be able to solve it in the reasonable amount of time that is available to the student. So it is something that more we become conscious about it, the more we are likely to solve.